that fish. Holy cow, guys. Absolute giant. Check this out. Water. She's ready to go. I've been letting her sit in the net. There she goes. Alright, so here we are starting day one of practice, and actually this was day two. Day one I went over to Kissimmee and was fishing there, but it was just terrible conditions. Caught a few little fish, but nothing great. Here I was working a grass line. You can kind of tell by the wind. I marked it there with a red line. So this pepper grass was out offshore, and I was fishing the outer edge of it, closest to the deeper water. It was about 6-7 foot of water, and reeling this thing up, this fish came up and hit it, and I was throwing a chatterbait. Actually, it wasn't a chatterbait, it was the Thunder Cricket by Strike King in a white and chartreuse color, 1/2 ounce. And this clued me in on a couple things, like these fish were feeding a little bit right here. I saw a couple more roll over. I didn't really do a whole lot of fishing in the area. I kind of wanted to save it. This one ended up being 20.5 inches. So, you know, it's a decent fish, good tournament fish for sure. Alright, so we're out here on Pierce Lake, and I found some offshore grass over here in a little pocket, probably about 6 foot, 7 foot of water. Throwing a chatterbait, and check this one out. Anyhow, y'all stay safe in this wind and stuff, and find you some fish. Let's go. So I cruised on around the lake a little more. I was marking outside edges of grass and ended up wanting to check a couple other things. So I seen this mat back here in this pocket, figured I'd go fish it, and punched a little bit in the mat. Found a little fish in there. So, you know, I'm kind of getting good feelings about the area, at least the lake I'm on, because there's fish all over. I got fish offshore, fish inside on these mats and lily pads, and you know, it's just a matter of marking kind of where I feel like the fish are going to be throughout the day. So y'all check out this bite. At least I found some fish to punch. Freaking giant there, ain't it? Again, carrying on around the lake, I find some more lily pads, cast around those. Everybody knows Florida, you got isolated lily pads. You either throw some kind of moving bait by them. If you don't get bit that way, you can go back with a Senko, pitch it in on there, and usually you get bit. This one wasn't a bad fish, but I did end up seeing a couple over in that area that I could have gone after if I needed to. They weren't real big, but you know, fish is a fish whenever you need a limit. Florida has cold fronts, and they shut down when that happens. So you just got to have fish in areas you know you can catch them, or at least have a fighting chance. Not too bad though. I kept moving around the lake, marking stuff, just trying to find some offshore grass and more, you know, just more consistent spots. This area ended up having a couple little fish in it, and was actually vital in the tournament later on. You'll have to watch the video further, but actually I don't have any footage of it because my GoPro's quit recording early on. But later on today, the next day, I ended up losing a 5-pounder back here, and it was, man, it's still making me sick to this day. That fish would have put me up in the top 5 probably, and I have one other one you'll see later on that was a good fish. But anyhow, here's day one of the series. We're starting off. We're on Lake Pierce. Early bite, the wind's blowing a different direction. I tried some offshore grass, seen fish rolling before daylight. Once daylight come around, these fish kind of just tugged away, and I didn't get any offshore bites. The wind kind of died for a little while, and it was just, you know, kind of tough fishing. I figured I'd go run in here and catch me a limit real quick of these small ones and move on from there. So y'all check out these couple bites. You know, I know these dinks aren't that great, but you know, you need to get a limit somehow. So go through, catch a limit, and now I figure I can move back offshore. The winds are supposed to pick up later on, and you can see it starting to breeze up on the water. So like I said, I figured I'd come in here, catch a couple dinks, and it ended up paying off here in a minute. You'll see that. So check it out. I really wanted to spend a lot more time offshore, but like I said, these fish were biting, so I figured I'd stick to these pads and just keep getting what I could out of there, and if I feel my limit, you know, move on from there and maybe go offshore and find some bigger fish.
Look at that, boys. Got me a decent one. Just let this thing drift to the bank.
In my head, I'm thinking decent because this fish is bigger than 12 inches, so I'm pretty happy about that. But anyways, you can hear the wind in the background starting to pick up a good bit more. See the waves starting to roll in on me, so this is helping my confidence along with whatever's about to happen here.
Freaking giant. It's a freaking giant. Oh yeah, baby. Holy smokes. Holy cow, look at that. Holy smokes. Oh my God, it's a freaking giant. God bless. Look at that fish. Holy cow, guys. Absolute giant. Holy smokes.
I usually don't talk much in tournaments or fishing in general, but this is a 22.5-inch fish, so I was pretty stoked to submit a fish this large. It ended up being the 4th overall largest fish caught, so I'm pretty happy. And this is fish number 4, so I'm filling out my limit slowly. Got 2 okay ones and 2 dinks, so we're gonna move on and keep checking out the rest of these things. This is an offshore grass bite. I'm throwing a rattle trap here, and you can kind of see the grass to my left side there. I'm ripping it right on the edge of this stuff, and this fish comes out and just nails it. Takes off towards the middle of the lake, turns around, and comes back to the grass, and he got unhooked. I was kind of upset there, but I'm still feeling good because it's early and I got 4 fish, so can't do nothing but keep going on. So I'm moving around the lake. I got 4 fish and hammered down this torpedo. I'm leaving this north bank alone. There's a couple guys over there fishing it. Didn't want to mess with their stuff, whatever they were on. Nobody was fishing this offshore grass, so I was like, well, we'll go run around the offshore grass and I'll cast a trap, a chatterbait, and a speed worm and see what we can come up with. And check out this bite here. Motor down, slide over here, make 1 cast, and this fish comes out and hammers it. Check it out. Check out my rod tip right here in just a second. That fish came out and just smoked this speed worm. It was awesome. So I'm feeling even more confident now about the offshore bite.
Got her.
Talk about a confidence boost. This is 19.5 inches, I believe is what it was, and my fifth fish. So I got a 19.5, 22.5, a 16 and something, and 2 little dinks. So, and I still got like 3 hours of fishing left. So feeling pretty comfortable. I can move around and do some stuff. So I ended up coming back around to this point on the north end of the lake. Had some success in practice here with the trap, so I'm throwing my trap, ripping it through grass, hooked this little guy, and brought it in. It wasn't a giant, but it's another fish. And I actually hooked the 5-pounder shortly after this, but my GoPros weren't working, and I don't have that fish on video, so you won't get to see that, but I lost the 5-pounder on the trap. After losing that fish, I moved around, caught this one off of Lily's on the backside. So that's another upgrade, and this ended up slapping me up to 13th place in the tournament. So that was the end of day 1. I finished 13th with 88.25 inches. Like I said, I'm starting to get more confidence built with these tournaments. I've been kind of consistent, but we'll see what day 2 has in store. Y'all check out day 2 later on.